Hey, welcome back. This is my first video kind of going over basics of Warthunder Naval. Um, Warthunder Naval Combat, the naval battles are probably one of the less played game modes. I've only been recently getting into it, um, and not even every country even has naval. Out of the all of the nations, everything has naval trees except for China, Sweden, and Israel. Among the nations that do have naval fleets, there's blue water, coastal, whatever they have. There are 18 countries of operation. Among those, 7 countries that are in fact represented. So, the countries that are the operational countries are the United States and the Republic of Vietnam for the United States tech tree. For Germany, there's Germany, the GDR, the FGR, and the German Empire. For the Soviet Union, there's the USSR and the Russian Empire. For Great Britain, there's Great Britain, Australia, Poland, Ireland, Canada, and the British Empire. Japan only has itself. Italy has itself and the Kingdom of Italy, and France only has itself as well. Okay, let's see. So, coastal vehicles, which are generally the less powerful, like torpedo boats and such, range from 1.0 BR to up to 4.7, whereas the blue water fleets range from 3.3 to 7.0 BR. As you can see, this is much different than, let's say, ground RB or air RB, where it's like 1 to 12.0 or 14.0. Yeah, it's not the best, but it's compressed because there's so few naval players. So if they decompressed it, there might be more naval players, but there wouldn't be initially enough, so wait times, which already are a problem, would definitely go up. Naval... Okay, so for classes of boats and ships in War Thunder Naval, there are 9 types. There are barges, boats, sub-chasers, frigates, destroyers, light and heavy cruisers, battle cruisers, and battleships. In that order, that is ordered generally by weight. So barges are slow, generally flat-bottomed. There's not that many of them in War Thunder. There's like the SF-40 light and heavy in the German tech tree. I think that might even just be it. Both of which are flak barges. There's quite a few boats, mostly in coastal, whereas I don't think there's many or any in blue water. Boats generally are single deck, and there's a common adage, you can put a boat on a ship, but not a ship on a boat, because generally a boat can be picked up and put onto a ship and moved that way. Sub-chasers, I think there's only a few of them, since we don't really have submarines as a very common part of the game. I mean, they were in that single event that one time, and I don't know if they're ever going to come back. I don't know how useful sub-chasers are. They're about as useful as a depth charge, so I don't really ever play those. Frigates are bigger than a boat, but smaller than a destroyer, with decent firepower, whereas a destroyer is bigger than a frigate, but smaller than a cruiser. The destroyers are a fast and maneuverable ship built to protect larger ships, like cruisers and battleships. Then you have light and heavy cruisers, which by the early US Navy definitions, light cruisers were up to 155-inch guns, with a heavy cruiser up to 203, that being a 6.1-inch gun and an 8-inch gun, and no more than 10,000 tons, that's TONNS, whereas a battlecruiser is a bit larger. It's faster than a battleship, but a little bit less armor, better guns than a light or a heavy cruiser. A battleship is the best firepower and armor, and those are usually going to be a 12 to a 16 or even an 18-inch gun. I don't know if we have any 18-inch guns in War Thunder, but it's entirely possible that they'll be added in the future, like if they eventually do add the Bismarck. It has 3 game modes. Arcade naval battles is pretty much it's my mode that I play mostly for naval. Realistic, there's a couple people that play it, and then there's simulator with enduring confrontation battles, which I think are the most fun, but they're hard to get into because you have to grind a little bit to get there. You can only play them if I think it's 5.3 or 5.0 and up. So one of the biggest problems that you're going to have in naval is aiming and ranging. So generally, guns are stabilized towards a point relative to the target, and you really only have to worry about ranging correctly. Lead is generally calculated to give you a general idea of where it should be, but that's all from the fire directors. So generally, I won't just go in and blast away. I mean, sometimes at the start of the match, you just gotta throw some rounds out there, but I'll usually do a ranging shot where you hit control plus fire, or control left click. That's the default keybind, and it'll send a single volley downrange. You can also set it to be turret or single gun ranging shots. That's especially useful if you have a long reload on all your guns and you want to preserve as much firepower as you can for once you have a range. So when you load into these battles, you're going to see a green circle in the top left of your window that is, I call it the long range engagement impact point HUD. I know it's kind of a long name, or you can call it the shell impact HUD element. It gives just a rough estimate of too much or too little lead and like relative where your ships are relative to each other. So if you fire that ranging shot and the element displays 0.25 kilometers over, you'd move your mouse down about 0.25 kilometers from the sniper mode perspective, while keeping roughly the same lead. And then once you've got the ranging dialed in, then you could adjust the lead to hit certain targets, like an ammo rack, a turret, etc. Whatever it may be. This is generally best in like long to medium range engagements with like straight-ish courses. Keep in mind that your enemies will also be doing this, so to counter it, you can change your course after firing a salvo. What works best with fast updating fire director ship, such as like the medium, BR, and higher ships. Let's see. Yeah, so that's for long and medium. For close range engagements, you're going to have what I call the battle site, which is a circle with a dot or a point in the center, rather than the ovalish impact point that you kind of get that looks like a shell splashing for long and medium range engagements. I would also highly suggest torpedoing, just spamming off some torpedoes. If you're naval, you can just spam all of them off at the start of the match. If you like pull a sharp turn, and don't crash into your allies, of course. That's a jerk move. Anyways, you can do that. Or let's say you're in naval battles with like the cargo ships in the back, send off some torpedoes towards those if you have like long range torpedoes. I know on the Krasny Kafkas it has like a 10 kilometer range. It's great range. If you are in 10 kilometers of those, they're stationary targets, and that's free Golden Eagles, free research, free points. Close range engagements, I usually use them on cruiser, like light and medium cruisers, sometimes destroyers. I like to sneak into the islands with some of my cruisers and destroyers, and then you can kind of farm the tiny little coastal ships that people use to cap those points. CAS isn't really a problem as much, at least at the tier I'm at, which I play mostly about 5.3 arcade. Since there's a lot of... I have radar on, I think it's the Super Tselny. It has a radar and high explosive variable time shells. um, which allow you to just kind of shoot once and hit, or shoot a couple times and hit pretty well. There are even surface-to-air missile SAM systems like the Bravi, the Douglas. There's a Italian one, I think, too. Other than that, CAS isn't horrible. It's pretty balanced, I'd say. So anyways, that was part 1 of my series on naval. I'm gonna try to play naval every day. I'm genuinely having a much better time than ground and air RB. It's something new and just different, and gives some variety to the game that I've really been lacking in the last couple months of playing. I've just not been having fun. Like, I tried grinding Britain with the TOG, and I'm just not having fun with that anymore. It's kind of painful. It's all up tiers. And so, naval's new and different. I wish there were more players in it, genuinely, because I wish they would flesh it out more. So, anyways, it's pretty late for me. I'm probably going to go to bed after I finish editing this. I'm just going to pop this in, pop in a few graphics, render it up, post it on YouTube. Good night, y'all. This is Sam, out for the night.